before we go any further in this quite epic journey that's going to happen, it's going to be a lot of videos. It looks a little daunting at first, but I'm kind of still excited about it. I'm ramped up, and it's gonna be good. But there's a lot of information. So before we go any further, I do want to walk you through pretty much what to expect and how this DIY guide is really going to all come together. So as I mentioned, it's going to be about 100 video series, and for anyone that's just like needs the whole A to Z, the whole comprehensive kind of walk, hand-holding through a lot of these things that you're going to see here, I'd recommend, watching it all the way through. And for anyone that needs to fill some gaps, I'll make it as easy as possible to actually kind of just like skip around and find some of the more pertinent information depending on where you're at with like, the life cycle or the progress that you're having yourself doing your marketing, building your website and all these things. So to make it kind of as straightforward as possible, we're going to spend the beginning here talking about what you need to get your website like off the ground and really understand what, what hosting is, what your domain is. So, we're right here, right at the beginning, humble beginnings. And I'm going to talk about how websites work and why you need a domain name. So your domain name is going to be the, the vanity URL that connects with the hosting. So when people type in the URL, it takes them to a website, just like when Google sees that you have a website and you index it, you can start coming up for search results. We're going to weigh our options as far as websites, what to expect. Should you do it yourself? Should you outsource it? If you do outsource it, what should you pay for? And then even after you get a website built for you and someone presents it to you, what are you still going to have to do on it? You're going to have to do some plugins. You're going to have to do updates. So I'm going to cover a lot of this. I do have a background pretty heavily with web development and WordPress development for sure. Built my first one about a decade ago. I do have a background in computer science, master's. I don't know if really any of this stuff technically qualifies me. I just know how to talk about it to the point where hopefully the audience will be able to understand. So after we do a design, and I will be building my own website, so it's not just me talking about it and showing examples. I'm going to be doing all these things in real time. I'm going to gain the domain, gain the hosting. You can follow exactly the best practices that I have. It'll be like all laid out. I'll have the proper links. If it's cost prohibitive for any reason, I'll give you alternatives. But you will see exactly what I do, A to Z, to build this up in each one of these videos. You'll see what kind of plugins I use to increase the functionality, and then basic SEO onboarding once the website is built, how I do my initial optimization, how to make changes, how to set up Google Analytics and Google Search Console so you can see what visitors are doing on your website, what kind of keywords you're starting to show up for. From there, I'll talk about the kinds of pages you absolutely should have on your website, from your homepage, about us, practice areas, FAQ, and plenty of others, and really what the best practices for creating those pages are. Whether you write the content yourself or not, how to outsource it. That's kind of ahead of myself, but that's what it'll be. Mobile optimized, because over 60% of traffic for most legal websites is on mobile. Taking a look at aesthetics. And then from here, I talk, of course, right here, a lot about content. A lot of lawyers are busy. They don't want to write content. There's sparse content on plenty of legal websites just because lawyers they sit down and they're just like, I don't want to do this. I completely get it. I've been there, and I'm going to make that as easy as possible for you. Plenty of options there. Best practices for all the great SEO stuff on page. These are all things Google is looking for. I'm going to be covering each and every one of them. And then, so we have content on page, and then we're going to talk about link building. I'm not sure exactly where it is on here. I'm getting ahead of myself again, but citations, legal directories, organizations, business profiles. We're going to go through each one with links. You're going to see how it works. You're going to understand it. My goal is for you to be, frankly, a pro and like change your whole world and everything about reality about what goes into digital marketing. I want you to walk away from this and know more than most of the SEOs that call you on a freaking daily basis trying to pitch you their services. There's a couple other things here as far as leveraging content, making the most out of every hour you put into your marketing. If you're able to sit down for 1 hour a day to do your marketing, I'll give you as much information on how to make the most of the hour, make it look like 4 hours would have typically been for someone else. Definitely a huge emphasis on Google My Business. That's one of the quickest opportunities for you to get leads. If you've never, ever gotten leads organically in your life, that is one of the quickest ways you can get it today. You get approved, shows up on the map. So I'll show you how to do that. Best practices with the optimization, setting up the profile, leveraging your reviews, maybe even building links. We'll talk about that. And we're going to look about the traffic that you'll start getting as we move along. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do all these videos in a day or in a week, probably not even in a month. So that'll give us time to kind of see the evolution of the website I'll create, start to look at the traffic, start to make tweaks, and you'll see the decisions I make and the opportunities I take advantage of, and you'll see in real time, hey, like you did that, can I do that? And we'll try to relate it as much as possible to your own situation. And then really to wrap up, this is DIY. It's supposed to be all the opportunities you have with as little spend as possible, but we will still explore how to leverage some of the paid opportunities, especially if they seem to be of good value and won't cost you too much. And that's really the whole thing. We're going to cover a lot, and ultimately it's almost my guarantee that if you follow this, you should be able to get niche, or really not even niche, broad related keywords ranked to generate a lot of quality leads for your law firm. That's really the goal. My goal is not to waste anyone's time. This is based off of my literally thousands of hours of doing this hands-on in-house as a consultant, a freelancing agency with my team. I'm really proud about the work that we've done. We've had a lot of success for many, many law firms in very competitive areas. And really, I'm just going to take an approach. It's going to be completely transparent. I'm not going to leave out anything. There's nothing proprietary. I'm not doing this to set up any sort of sales or have you uncover secrets by paying me $9.99. It's all on the table, and it's all happening now.